Hi, sir. Okay, so hello everyone. Good afternoon. It's exactly 5 p.m. And I am Joseph Pinito. I'm also from the University of Asia in the Pacific. I teach with the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm with the History Department, and I'm joining you this afternoon as your host. So it's a rainy afternoon here in Ortigas. I hope everyone is safe and dry. And again, welcome everyone to the SED faculty lecture. We started the SED faculty lecture series last school year, a venue for the professional development of the members of the UA&P SED community. This is an opportunity for faculty members to showcase their research work and feature their advocacies. For students and friends, this is a chance to be enlightened on pertinent issues affecting our educational system and the learning of our students. In November 2022, we held our first lecture featuring Dr. Alice Orosa, a lecturer in our Master of Arts in Education program. Her lecture on setting new pathways for teacher educators tackled current issues that affect basic education in the Philippines. She also covered the initiatives being taken to address the gaps and problems confronting basic education in our country. Today, as part of the celebration of SED's 30th founding anniversary, we come together once again for Mr. Emmanuel Rentoy's talk on cultivating ethical integrity, educators' key role in a tech-driven world. To officially begin this afternoon session, please welcome the Dean of the School of Education and Human Development, Dr. Angelito Antonio, for his opening welcoming remarks.
A warm welcome and greetings to all our participants to the first of the season of our faculty lecture series. The faculty lecture series is a quarterly forum that the School of Education and Human Development started way back school year 22-2023. We had 3 speakers then for the first 3 quarters. It was meant primarily as a professional development conference. While that was the main purpose, the faculty lecture series is also a form of the commitment of the School of Education and Human Development to the field of teacher education, much more so as a form of a public community extension service. This year, as mentioned by Dr. Nito, is also the celebration of the 30th founding anniversary of the School of Education and Human Development. And so we thought that the faculty lecture series will remain one of the more significant activities that we can offer to the public, more so to our colleagues in the field of teacher education. And we're very thankful and we're very lucky to have with us Mr. Man Rentoy to give a talk on a very relevant topic which touches all of us in the field of education, entitled Cultivating Ethical Integrity, Educators' Key Role in a Tech-Driven World. So I hope you find something very substantial and meaningful, some take home from the lecture to be shared by Mr. Rentoy. So sit back and relax and welcome to the University of Asia and the Pacific First Faculty Lecture Series.
Thank you, Dr. Antonio. Um, just to inform everyone, I think you're noticing that we're still admitting people. We're already 104 in the Zoom. I just want to also inform you, I think you saw it in the chat. This is also, there's a link in YouTube. This lecture is also being live streamed in YouTube and shared in the UA&P SED Facebook page. So, please allow me to introduce our speaker for this afternoon. Mr. Manrentoy is a lecturer from the University of Asia and the Pacific. He has taught for more than 30 years. He is a graduate of the University of Santo Tomas, where he earned a double degree in AB Journalism and AB Literature, an MA in Creative Writing, and a PhD in Literature. He was the founding executive director of Westbridge School in Iloilo City. He was in the first batch of graduates of Paref Southridge School, where he also taught for 15 years, occupying various posts including Principal of Intermediate School, Vice Principal of High School, and Department Head of Religion. He is the founding executive director of Character Education Partnership Philippines, or CEP Philippines, an international affiliate of CEP in Washington, D.C., USA. As founder of CEP Philippines, he has been invited to speak all over the country, as well as in Washington, D.C., San Diego, California, USA, Colombo, Sri Lanka, Tokyo, Japan, and Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He also serves as the founding president of the Center for Fourth and Fifth R's, Respect and Responsibility Asia, otherwise known as the Thomas Licona Institute for Asia. He is probably the most visible advocate of character formation in the country, having spoken to hundreds of schools and universities around the Philippines. In 2022, Character.org bestowed on him the International Champion for Character Award for his sustained commitment to character education beyond the United States. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Emmanuel Rentoy.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, friends. So happy to be with you here today. Thank you so much, University of Asia and the Pacific School of Education, for giving me this opportunity to reach out to my fellow teachers. I'm going to share my slides now. We're going to talk about something very important, very urgent, I would say, even considering the situation we find ourselves in right now. But I'd like to get to know my participants, our participants in this seminar today. Can you please, let me see, I hope you are using a, how do you call this? A laptop or computer. I'm launching a poll. Please click on yes if you've attended some of my past seminars. No if this is your first ever, so that I know if I can repeat my jokes in the past. Okay, great. So I'm seeing here, let me see, 46 first time, 48 first time, 20 have already attended some of my past seminars. In fact, I recognize some good friends here from Holy Angel University, from, of course, University of Asia in the Pacific. Okay, well, thank you. 71% more or less are first time to attend my session, and then around 30% have attended some of my past seminars. Well, if you have attended any of my past seminars, I'm sure you have heard me talk about teachers as being very, very important, and not just covering the curriculum, not just teaching a subject, but especially in raising young people to be good men and women of character. Okay, let's end this poll. I'm going to give another poll later. We are preparing the young people for a future that you cannot even describe. My dear fellow teachers, think about it. 20 years ago, wala pang YouTube, wala pang Facebook. 20 years ago, maybe many of you, some of us, were using dial-up internet, where you have to wait before the whole page could load. Now, the students inside our classroom, we are preparing them for 10, 20 years from now that we cannot even imagine yet. There was no Netflix 10 years ago. There was no Spotify. There are many things that we see now that were not there 5, 10 years ago. Therefore, you cannot even imagine yet fully what 5 years from now would look like. And yet, that is what we are preparing the young people for. That is the big challenge of teachers like you and me. We are like treading unknown territories, really. We may not be able to prepare the future for our children, but we can at least prepare our children for the future, Theodore Roosevelt said. And how do we prepare them? Well, this is it. We need to develop our children's capacity for goodness, curb their capacity for cruelty, and foster the courage to come to the aid of those who are mistreated. My dear fellow teachers, this is the challenge for us right now. Our young people are growing up in a world that is full of hatred, anger, literally wars, plural. This is the kind of world that the young people are growing up in, and we, adults, parents, teachers, have to help these young people navigate this kind of world that they're living in right now. That's why, more than teaching subjects, teachers, our role is to cultivate ethical integrity in this kind of tech-driven world, or a world where the young people are so immersed in gadgets, technology, and the internet. This is the kind of world that the young people are living in. And I'm so happy to see so many teachers signing up. Actually, there were around 900 registrations I saw. And we are now 120 inside the room. Maybe because many of us are asking, paano natin gagawin to? Anong gagawin natin dito sa mga kabataan ngayon with this kind of world that they're living in right now, this tech-driven world? Now, real talk lang tayo kasi all of us are adults. Walang bata dito, walang mga minors in this group. So, real talk lang ako, ano? There are some teachers who attend seminars because they're after a certificate. Only because they are just after some points or so, something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But here is a very important message, my dear fellow teachers. The world that we're living in right now, where the young people are the main victims of the environment, your job, my job has become so important that it's not enough to just have certificates. It's important that we equip ourselves so that we know how to keep on raising these young people to be good men and women. As I said, okay, certificates are good, but the message that you're going to receive today is our job as teachers is so important. Let's go beyond merely getting certificates, renewing our license. Let us think about the young people entrusted to our care. And the 20% of you who said you've attended some of my past talks, you've heard me say this again and again. We are entrusted with young people to take care of. We are not just given a subject to teach. We are given a whole new generation of young people to take care of. And I know you agree with me. The world that the young people are living in right now, the world that we see today, there are so many dilemmas, ethical dilemmas that we are faced with because of technology. It's ironic, right? That now that we are so connected, thanks to internet, Wi-Fi, the World Wide Web, there is more disconnection than ever. You sometimes see a whole family taking dinner in a restaurant, and they're not talking to each other, each one to his own gadget. While we are so lucky that we get news in a flash now. Naalala nyo yung Yolanda or Ondoy or the Baguio earthquake of 1991. You remember? We didn't know the extent of the damage until days after. Today, as things are happening, as missiles are being fired in the other side of the globe, we are watching in real time news in a flash. But unfortunately, so ironic that fake news can also be transmitted in a flash. While we are so lucky to have information at the tip of our fingers, at the click of the button, there is also so much disinformation easily spread now. While life has become more convenient, you don't need to go around with 20 volumes of encyclopedia now. But at the same time, that convenience of having information at the press of the button is bringing about a sort of mental laziness among many people, not just the young, even among adults. Or, yeah, there is entertainment, Spotify, and the millions of songs that you can access at any time, more than 1 billion videos in YouTube. And I think there is an overload. I mean, the young people, as well as the old people, are getting this overload of information and entertainment. While we are given the chance to express ourselves, and your audience now can be the whole world, thanks to social media, YouTube. Well, research says we are seeing a generation of young people that is self-centered and vain, the most self-centered and vain in the history of humanity. And while the internet is giving, technology is giving young people creativity, able to foster creativity, it's also bringing about a certain dullness of mind, thanks to video games, especially video games na the more you kill, the more points you get, the higher level you go, that kind. It's creating a dullness of mind, and that is the dilemma we're facing with. There's so many challenges because of technology. Definitely, it's impacting our personal and professional life. Sabi ng research, productivity went down ever since the advent of social media. And sometimes I tend to believe it kasi minsan I enter a faculty room, not University of Asia in the Pacific, but other faculty rooms. And you will see there, pag umiikot ang principal, ang nakabukas sa laptop sa computer ni ma'am at saka ni sir, yung Word at saka Microsoft Excel at saka PowerPoint. Pero pag wala ang principal, wala ang supervisor, ang nakabukas nba.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, it has impacted our personal and professional lives. Should we be worried? I want to hear your thoughts. I want you to take this poll. Let me see. So this was our result earlier. Okay. Here, I want you to I have to launch this. Sorry about this. I'm trying to launch a poll. Let me see. Okay. Sorry, not that one yet. Ito pala muna. Okay. What are the unethical practices among students that you have observed? Click as many as you think you have seen among your students. Unethical practices of students. You have plagiarism, cheating during online tests, unauthorized use of device for non-class activities like nagfe-Facebook, nagti-TikTok, nagti-Twitter habang kayo'y nagle-lecture. Cyberbullying, dishonest collaboration, hacking or unauthorized access, inappropriate content, impersonation, fake accounts or pretending to be someone else, unauthorized downloading. What among all these have you observed among your students? Parang nangunguna ang plagiarism. 84% of you are saying that you have seen your students plagiarize. 68% said cheating during online tests. Okay. Okay, let's give it just 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I think most of you have already answered. I'm going to end the poll now, and this is what we see. Plagiarism is number 1, 83%. Okay. Cheating during online tests is number 2. Unauthorized use of device like nagti-TikTok, nagti-Twitter, nagti-Facebook habang kayo ay nag-lecture. Okay, cyberbullying comes next, dishonest collaboration. Okay, unauthorized downloading ang pinaka dulo. Those are some of the unethical practices among students that you have seen. Now, I want to ask you, what are the unethical practices of teachers that you have seen? Whether it is teachers in your faculty room, in the other school, in your neighborhood, or you've read in the internet, in Inquirer. Okay, so plagiarism seems to be, again, number 1. Cut and pasting from sources is leading, pero humahabol ang unauthorized use of device for non-class related activities in class. Oops, bumaba yon. Favoritism in grading. Failure to keep up with technological advances is now second. No, it's now number 1. 72% of you are saying, okay, let's give it last 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, I'm going to end the poll, and now here is the result. Sabi nyo, 73% of you, number 1, failure to keep up with technological advances, unethical practice. Number 2 is plagiarism. Let me see. Number 3, lumabas, is favoritism in grading. Number 4 is misuse of school resources. Okay, so there's a challenge, no? It's not just the students that we observe with unethical practices. We also, according to you, observe in some teachers. Now, let me make this very clear. Fellow teachers, please make it, I want to make it very clear to all of you, I am not against technology. I am not against internet, Wi-Fi, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm not against Wikipedia. Technology is here to stay. In fact, technology is going to get better and better, faster, cheaper, more colorful. Engineers are designing more and more apps for younger and younger people. According to the research in the United States, a kid starts using now a gadget. 1/3 of the kids start now using a gadget even while still in diapers. 1/3. of the children start using a gadget while still in diapers. That's the reality now. What we need to do is to make sure that this kid grows up to be responsible in the use of technology, in the use of gadget, in the use of internet. Because technology is here to stay. I am not saying remove. I am not saying do away with. I am not saying get rid of. We are saying this is the reality. We have to make sure this young kid today grows up in control of technology and not the other way around, because it's the other way around that's happening now. Technology seems to be manipulating the young people as well as the older people. I mean, it's not just the young people that are being victimized by this technocentric lifestyle. In fact, we are all now concerned about depression, teen depression and suicide. And the experts in the US came up with a study 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and they pointed to these 4 major factors or causes of depression and teen suicides. Number 1 is social media and the smartphone. That is contributing to the mental health crisis that we are seeing, especially among the young people. Number 2, they are blaming the gloom and doom narratives. And it's even worse today. Literally, I'm talking about today with the war in Israel happening, with the 2 sides now trying to destroy each other online. I mean, it's now a war that is going on. And all of us are affected, but have you stopped to think about how these things are affecting especially the young? They are affected in a very different way, in a more intense way than we adults are, by all these gloom and doom narratives. Every day that they watch the news, aside from the wars, you hear about corruption, you hear about immorality, you hear about politicians trying to destroy each other, creating false in fake news, spreading lies, and things like that. That's the kind of world that the young people are growing up in. Now, let's not forget that while many of us teachers who are not digital natives are grappling with technology, please don't forget that the young people too are grappling with the pressure of being able to perform well, of being able to pass. They just came from this pandemic. I mean, all of us just came from the pandemic, and many have not recovered fully from that terrible period in our life, both on the side of the teachers as well as the students. They too had a tough time. And then, sabi ng experts, the other cause is parenting styles. Let's face it, as research tells us, parenting today has become far more difficult than ever. Than in the history of mankind. This is not a very easy time for parents. Therefore, teachers, we have to help. We are needed more than ever by the young people. They need ethical leadership. Some of them don't find it at home because the parents may be absent or too busy trying to survive. And in the case of Filipinos, in the case of the Philippines, we have this distinct OFW phenomenon where you have more than 10 million Filipinos working abroad, leaving behind their children, many of whom are of school age. So, teachers, here's a very important message. Maraming estudyante pumapasok sa loob ng classroom natin at hindi nila hinahanap ang science, English at math. Ang hinahanap nila ay ang mga sagot sa malaking katanungan tungkol sa buhay. Why did mother leave us? Why did dad choose to work abroad? Why is there war? Why are there people, so many people dying because of all these tragedies? Those are the things that are on top of the mind of many young people. It's not about subject-verb agreement. They don't come looking for answers to how to do factoring. They are looking for answers to the bigger questions in life. And you teachers, we cannot tell these kids, sorry, that's not my turf. I'm here to teach math. No, those kids have been entrusted to our care. We need to help them by nurturing ethical decision-making skills, by modeling ethical behavior, and then let's work with the parents and the community. A hallmark of a great school is its effort to work with the parents in helping the young people, especially if you have if the kid comes from a home like this. After the pandemic, according to experts, what we saw among the young people is the epidemic of isolation. It's an epidemic that they had to go through, not just the COVID. There is something more that they had to grapple with. So then, we need to help young people do the right thing, even when no one is watching, even when it is difficult, and even when others are not. They watch the news and they hear about all these corrupt politicians and countries fighting for freedom or for land or for rights, and um, young people need answers to bigger questions. So I want to share with you some concrete strategies that we teachers can use in order to help the young people develop, cultivate ethical integrity. Number one, let us set clear expectations, both in physical, face-to-face, and digital environments. We have to make it very clear to the young people that we do not accept plagiarism, all those unethical practices that you mentioned earlier, that many of you clicked on, that you observed among the students. Explicitly tell the students that you do not approve of them. Set clear expectations. Number two, we cannot do away with digital literacy because the young people do not live in a vacuum. They are so immersed in technology, in this kind of digital lifestyle, that we've got to teach them digital literacy, responsible use of the internet, being critical about believing the right things, not because it appeared in internet and shared by 20,000, it doesn't mean that it's true. Sabi ng research, we now have the most gullible generation of young people. I mean, you have young people today who do not read the news. They just see the headline, they click on it, they like it, they comment on it, they bash the person being talked about there without actually reading the whole news yet. And some people, some nasty, bad people know that. And that is why they use that strategy to spread fake news. We've got to help the young people develop critical, their ability to judge, evaluate the veracity of what is presented to them online or even in physical material things. And then the proper citation techniques. All these are now part of what we teachers have to teach the young people, regardless of what subject you are teaching. Regardless of what subject you are teaching. For example, we should not fail to remind the students, okay, class, here's the assignment. Please do not even think about cut and pasting. I expect you to write your own original work, essay. Please do not resort to simply asking ChatGPT and then cutting and pasting it to your paper. Those things have to be explicit, coming from every one of us, regardless of what subject we are teaching. And then part of digital literacy is the proper use of the internet, especially of social media. I mean, if it's teachers themselves who, post cryptic messages that seemingly attack their school, their colleague, their supervisor, then there goes modeling ethical behavior. By example, we have to teach young people responsible use of technology, especially social media, the internet. We've got to promote critical thinking because there are people out there who really deliberately are out to distort history, to revise history, to spread lies, disinformation, fake news. Especially now, we see that it's election time for barangay level, and you will expect a lot of mudslinging. And then at a certain point, you don't anymore know who is speaking the truth. The war that is going on right now, we don't know anymore what we should believe in if you do not have that critical mind, that critical thinking. We've got to study. Sabi ni Eddie, mostly mas magaling pa ang mga learners sa technology than teachers nowadays. I agree. Sabi nga ng expert, teachers, pag nahihirapan ka sa PowerPoint mo, give it to your grade 3 student. Kaya niyang gawin yan. But let me now remind you, they may be experts in the use of technology, but they are not capable of being responsible users of technology, which is what we adults have to teach the young people. Responsible use of technology. According to research, kids below the age of 12 are incapable of responsibly owning a gadget. But the pandemic forced us into a situation where many parents suddenly had to give their kids their own gadgets for online learning, for doing the module, for doing the synchronous or asynchronous classes. That's why we have not seen the full extent of the damage yet of the pandemic. We haven't seen the whole picture yet of what it has brought about and what it continues to bring about. So, critical thinking, because we are subjected to all these nasty things that are available online. Number 4, we have to discuss these things with the students, even if it may have absolutely nothing to do with your subject matter at a certain point. For example, you are not teaching morals, you are not teaching values, but as a teacher, you may need to sometimes make a comment about the headlines of the day. Because the young people, again, I repeat, are not living in a vacuum. They hear the news, they see all these things being reported, and those are questions that are on top of their mind. And sometimes we teachers would have to spend time discussing those dilemmas, especially those dilemmas that have to do with the use of technology. Number 5, and this is not the first time I'm saying it, we've already encountered it earlier. We teachers have to be role models for our students. We have to model it in the proper use of technology, in the proper use of gadgets, in the proper use of social media. We have to be the last ones, teachers, who get involved in bashing, destroying names of other people because of what we post in social media. We have to be the last ones to ever be caught doing something like that. Pero, well, like what we did earlier, real talk lang tayo, no? Ang totoo niyan, I've been in the teaching profession for more than 30 years. I worked in around 8 schools in Iloilo, in Manila, in the university. I've worked in so many schools, and I have given seminars to more than 100,000 teachers in the Philippines. The truth is, hindi lahat ng teachers na nakilala natin role models. Maybe some of us even had teachers when we were students who were bad examples, na we preferred to forget about them. We don't remember anything about them. And then every so often you read about abuses, teachers who are acting in a less than standard, less lower than acceptable standards. It's very sad, but that's the reality of it. Now, okay, let's put that aside regardless. And in fact, we ourselves, we look back, maybe some of us can say, ay, oo nga, I found myself texting many times. Even in the middle of the class, I would be answering, and I would tell the class, excuse me, I have to answer this text. When, okay, some of us may have committed some mistakes, even in the use of technology. Never mind, it doesn't matter. The important thing is you're in this seminar now, and we are reminding ourselves, I've got to be a role model for my students in all aspects, especially in the use of technology, in the use of gadgets, because I am entrusted with young people to take care of. We are hired to make an impact in the lives of young people, not just to handle third grade, not just to help students pass history, PE, a quiz, a test, a subject. Think about it. We are here to enhance the lives of our students. And that is a very important role, more important than ever in the history of mankind. The role of the teachers in forming character, molding minds, shaping the lives of our students. Number 6, we've got to address plagiarism and academic honesty. In the first place, through our role modeling, that we do not ever resort to plagiarizing, and then to set high standards for our students as far as academic honesty is concerned, that we never fail to remind our students about being upright, that when they submit something and they put their name on it, it is an honest declaration that this is an original work. That's why I put my name there. I did not cut and paste this from somewhere. I didn't just chat GPT it. Number 7, integrate ethical discussions into lessons. And those of you who have attended some of my past seminars on how to develop grit, resilience, empathy, how to create a kind and caring classroom, I always talk about this. We've got to incorporate into our subject matter lesson plan character, values, virtues. I encourage you, you can screenshot this or you can copy the link so that you can take advantage of the so many articles. In fact, I have available in my website, characterconferences.com, articles on the 10 best AI websites helpful for teachers, top 10 educational apps for enhancing learning, how to deal with a defiant student, 10 best tips to win over the parents of your students, etc. Fantastic materials. How to avoid teacher burnout. Teachers, please take care of yourselves. Year after year, we hear about teachers burning out, getting burnt out. Because we give ourselves to our students, we're like burning candles and we get burnt out. Please learn how to take very good care of yourself, because people have to count on us, how to be able to rely on us. So there, read that article, how to avoid teacher burnout, how to deal with the helicopter parents, how to know if you have the talent for teaching, 5 tips to become more professional as a teacher, why teachers must read the classics, and then some funny stuff also. So you can check that out, and download as many of those articles or read and take advantage. Let's go to the next one, number 8. I have to end more or less in less than 10 minutes. Promote empathy and respect online. This is a very important aspect of our job now. We've got to drown evil, which is what the world is so immersed in right now. There's so much evil, all these wars and infighting and politicking. We've got to drown all these with an abundance of good, of kindness. In the first place, teachers, let us make sure our classroom is a kind and caring environment, is a kind and caring place, is a haven of kindness for these young people who are very hungry for a world that is full of love. That's the kind of world that we want to create, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Can we ask again for the link of the video? I'm going to give it to you later. Number 9, we've got to address cyberbullying and online safety. That is part of digital citizenship. And then the young people have to realize that whatever they do online, they are leaving behind like digital footprint. And some of those may come back to haunt them someday. I know people who did not get accepted in a job they applied for because the HR officer looked at their Facebook, looked at their social media, and saw how they were posting angry things, unkind things. And if I am an HR officer, I will say, why will I hire someone who attacks people, who doesn't have loyalty, who doesn't know? According to the Facebook and the Twitter of the guy who doesn't seem to know kindness. There is such a thing as digital footprint, and the young people have to be made aware of this. Number 10, please involve the parents. After all, the young people are supposed to learn at home kindness, courtesy, goodness, honesty. Di ba? Dapat bago pa pumasok ang bata sa loob ng classroom, natutunan niya na sa nanay at tatay, mag-good morning ka ha, mag-good afternoon ka ha, mag-thank you ka ha, say the word please ha. But you and I, teachers, we know many kids now enter our classroom and they don't know how to say please. Yan. Pagkailangan nila ng handout, sisigaw bigla, Ma'am, I didn't get a handout. Yan, parang yung entitled. You need to teach this kid. Nope, you're supposed to say, may I please have a copy? May I please have a handout? I didn't get it. We shouldn't fail in this. And then, to do our example, dapat umuulan sa loob ng classroom ng please, thank you, sorry, I give my word. The 4 pillars of civilization. Real talk lang tayo, no? Kanina pa tayo nagre-real talk. Minsan mahirap din kausapin ng ibang magulang. And that's the reality of it. Minsan, and some of you are already posting your comments there, it should start at home. Pero ang totoo niyan, minsan, walang disiplina ang bata. Ay kasi pala sa bahay, hindi tinuruan ng disiplina. Nandun pala yung problema sa bahay. Okay, in fact, I don't need to ask you if you agree or disagree. I'm sure those of you who have been with us in the teaching profession for more than a year, you've seen sometimes cases like this. The problem sometimes is at home. So here's number 11, teachers. And you mentioned that earlier. I think number 1 yun, not being able to cope with all these technological advances. Let's stay informed. Let's attend seminars like this, not just for the certificate, but because we need to learn, we need to update ourselves. Some of you are afraid about ChatGPT taking replacing people. Yeah. and many other things. But again, I repeat what I said earlier, technology is here to stay. Hindi mo na maa-atras yan. Hindi mo na malalabanan yan. And ChatGPT is just the tip of the iceberg. Here, for example, is a list of apps, websites that can make the life of a teacher so easy and so much fun for the students if they know how to use them, if teachers know how to use them. ChatGPT, Grammarly, Edpuzzle, Kahoot, which you can use to give quizzes and immediately you have the results. Hindi lang siya game, but it's presented like a quiz game in a very exciting way. Scribsense, Quizlet, Read and Write by Text Help, Pear Deck, Nearpod, Beeline Reader, Duolingo for Schools. I will even flash to you here now 45 mind-blowing ChatGPT plugins to enhance your experience today. Wait, here's more. 120 mind-blowing AI tools that can make your teaching better, more effective, and easier. No, even more. 135 plus AI tools that you and I need for our personal growth and professional growth. You see, ChatGPT is not an enemy. The internet is not an enemy. It can help us become the best teachers we can possibly be. So teachers, I have to encourage you, courage, dear heart, do not let this all these technological advancements terrorize you. Let's do it step by step, little by little, and be open to learning. To educate a man in mind and not in morals is to educate a menace to society. What we have to have first is a mindset. I am not just hired by my school to teach a subject, math, science, Filipino, social studies. Tapos nagkamatatag pa, nabawasan pa yung subjects. Okay, regardless of what curriculum there is, we are entrusted with young people to take care of. That is the bigger challenge, regardless of what subject we are asked to teach. Let's share best practices with our fellow teachers. That's one of the best faculty development seminars you can ever have. You don't need to invite speakers to come to your school. If you can get experts, fantastic. But even among yourselves, spend time sharing best practices. Collaborate with parents and policymakers, and then engage technology experts. Learn from these people who can help you make your life easier, more productive. Now is the time to become better than ever in the work that we do as educators, as models of integrity. The time is always right to do right, Martin Luther King said. Because now more than ever, the students need us. The students need you, not just to learn how to subtract, to add, to divide, to multiply. The students need you more than just how to use, how to do the subject-verb agreement. They especially need us to know how to be good and to do good. In a world that is so immersed in technology, if you, like me, are complaining about the kind of politicians we see in the Philippines, in other countries, well, here's the solution. Yung mga estudyante nyo ngayon, the students you have inside your classroom, raise them to become good future leaders. Because the future of the world is in your classroom, is in my classroom today. What we need to do, dear fellow teachers, is to give them the North Star, the values, the virtues, how to do things right, how to do things well. Whatever subject we are handling, that is what we have to be more concerned about. Okay? I have reached the end of it. I sent out invitations to many of you for this, and I realized I mentioned there that, well, you will be getting a certificate from the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts. So I will just share this with you. But the University of Asia and the Pacific School of Education also will be the one to provide you with the certificate for our session today. But those of you who want to claim a certificate from the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts, you can screenshot this QR code so that later on you can access it, or you can do it now and you can actually fill up the form, or you can copy this bit.ly/ethical catalyst so that you can get your certificates from the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts. And the question earlier about the articles, that's actually found in the website characterconferences.com. And then you can click on articles. If you click on articles, those the slides I showed earlier with the titles of the different interesting articles will give you that you'll be able to access them. Thank you so much. And again, University of Asia and the Pacific, thank you for this invitation to join you in this afternoon session. I can only wish you luck in your adventure as educators and in your adventure of forming character, molding minds, and preparing the young people to be our future leaders. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rentoy. I think we can see in the chat an overwhelming thank you to Mr. Rentoy for the very informative session. And we have a few minutes to entertain questions, but so that we can manage our time, if you have questions, please type them in the. Please feel free to post them in the chat. Okay. So we can maybe accommodate one or two questions from the room. Okay, but we can see in the chat that everyone is just saying thank you to Sir Rentoy for the very informative talk. And then there are some questions, some more administrative about the e-certificate. I would just like to remind everyone that this session is also live streamed in the YouTube channel of Mr. Manrentoy. So you can, if you want to go back to this session, okay, you can check the YouTube channel of Mr. Manrentoy. There was a question also earlier, sir, asking for a copy of your presentation. So I don't know how you respond to that.
Actually, if you go to slideshare.net and then you search Man Rentoy, you're going to find there around 70 PowerPoint presentations, and all of them are actually public, available to the public, so you can actually download them. And I know it's free. I mean, you don't need to pay any membership fee for SlideShare.net. You need to create an account to be able to download files, but it's free. You just have to really register with your email address, and then it's going to ask you to verify your account, and then search Man Rentoy and download as many of the PowerPoints that you need there. And maybe one of these days I'd be able to have time to upload the one that I specifically presented today for our session. There's a it seems there were two who asked about book or author that I follow. Well, as I was introduced earlier, my main source many times is Dr. Thomas Licona, Lickona, Licona, because most of his books are considered to be the most important works on character formation. The first one is Character Matters by Dr. Thomas Licona, and the other one is Educating for Character. Those two are fantastic materials. And then the other author I follow very closely, because I brought her to Manila a number of times, is Dr. Michelle Borba. And again, all her books are fantastic sources of strategies for parents as well as teachers on how to build the character of the young people. Dr. Michelle Borba, that's with one L, Michele, Michele, Borba. Whatever of her 28 books can be very useful for teachers as source for character education.
Okay, thank you, Sir Man. Any other questions? Um, what are from Reggie Palomo, sir? Good evening, sir. What are those qualities of being effective educator? And then, sorry, I'll just read the other one also from Tyson Lorna. Aside from the usual parent conferences and webinars for parents, what are the other ways to empower parents to strengthen school-home partnership?
Okay. Because I mentioned earlier, one of the hallmarks of a great school is its effort to reach out to the parents and collaborate with the parents or make the parents collaborate with a school. And so if you go to if you go to my YouTube channel, there are seminars there for parents, precisely also on how to form character at home. One of the most important ways that you, educators, administrators, teachers, can engage with the parents is to make sure that there is open communication with them through newsletters, through emails. Let them know, for example, what you are doing related to character formation in the school so that they are aware that you are trying to push certain values or certain virtues. And the message is very clear. We're doing this in school. We are expecting you to do the same at home. You will do a great deal of good to your son, to your daughter, if you also push the same value or virtue or advocacy or campaign at home. Send them newsletters that can give them ideas on how they can foster, for example, the virtues you are pushing, or if, for example, there are, how do you call this, outreach activities that you are organizing in school, make it open to the parents, make it possible for the parents to also be able to help out and collaborate and support and participate. Yeah, so in other words, there are so many things that you can think of in order to engage the families, engage the parents. But in the first place, it's got to be a mindset. I have visited so many schools around the Philippines, and many times I've seen schools where they see parents as people in the other side of the fence, almost like opponents, almost like even kalaban. It's very sad when you see schools like that ang tingin nila sa mga parents is parang ganun lagi. Not all parents are like that, right? I mean, okay, every now and then we may encounter some problems, parents that may be difficult to deal with, but in general, most parents, the reason why they enroll their sons, their daughters in your school is because they see you as possible partners, collaborators. But we've got to make it open to them, and we've got to give them opportunities to partner and to collaborate. They will. They surely will want to, especially if it is for the good of their son or their daughter.
Okay, thank you, Sir Man. Just last two questions. We have one that's asking about an effective application tool or app that you found most useful for you to make the subject that you're teaching interesting for the students. And then another one, another question. This I found very interesting, and I'm curious about your answer. This is from Angelo Broqueza. What's your opinion or comment about those who are saying that their activities outside their profession as teachers, including behaviors online, shouldn't be a basis in assessing their performance in school?
Okay, let's talk first about the resources, apps. ChatGPT by itself is really very, very useful. We just have to be aware that there are limitations of ChatGPT. It is not 2023 updated, for example. But the application of ChatGPT in so many other apps have been very, very useful for me. For example, because I do a lot of presentations, I need to prepare a lot of PowerPoint presentations. There is Gamma, that app where you just put the title and the main idea that you want to highlight, and it's going to produce for you a whole presentation by itself. It's mind-boggling, it's jaw-dropping, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. And ChatGPT is not even 1 year old yet. It is just about to celebrate its first anniversary next month in November. And that's why there are so many things that are, of course, the limitation for us is many times it will ask for credit card details and things like that. Many of them are not free, but more and more are coming out that are free, or at least they have 1 week free trial or 3-day free trial. Make use of them, and then make sure you cancel before they charge your credit card. So in fact, it's one of those things that I think will be very much appreciated by teachers as a seminar that we are thinking of offering sometime in January. Top 20 apps to make your life as a teacher much easier. And the free ones that we can make sure we are able to share with you. Okay, now let me go to the second question related to teachers using social media, and it should not be used as their life outside the school or outside the classroom. It should not be used for evaluation. Here's a very unique thing about teachers. We have to be role models. And so whatever we do, whether in campus or outside of campus, inside the classroom or outside the classroom, has a bearing on the formation that we give our students. And so if your school, for example, doesn't explicitly say that you expect your teachers to be role models, I encourage you, revisit your faculty manual and go back to it and explicitly say so, that you consider the teacher not just to be in charge of teaching a subject, they are in charge of molding minds, forming character, especially to do the example of our life. And that makes it very important that we are upright, moral, and role model, whether inside the classroom or outside. We cannot be a source of scandal, for example, for our students. We cannot be a source of deformation for our students, for example. And that is something unique to teachers. It's like once we enter into the profession of teaching, we are actually saying that I am presenting myself as a possible role model for the students. And it's got to be spelled out clearly in your faculty manual. If it is not, then yes, you're going to have that so-called dilemma where the teacher can say, but this is my life, you have nothing to do with it, and you should not be able to dictate on what I want to do outside of the classroom. But the fact is, we are more than just a teacher of subjects. We are more than just a teacher of a syllabus. That is essential, that is important, and that is crucial. But at the same time, because of the kind of position we have, we do more than just cover the curriculum.
Hey, thank you so much.
But as I said, if that's not in your
Yeah,
faculty manual, if you've never given that as part of your orientation, well, good luck in how you tackle that problem. But it is,
yeah,
I would agree, a problem in some cases where the teachers will defend themselves by saying, no, I have my life outside the classroom.
yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Just in case some of them would still like to ask you or consult you about certain matters, how would they reach, how would they contact you, sir?
If you go to characterconferences.com, there is a form at the bottom where you put your email and then a message that you can leave there. It will reach me.
Okay.
So everything there. You can ask questions there, and I promise to, well, give me a day or two to be able to get back to you to answer, especially if you introduce yourself there as one of the participants of the UA&P SED activity today. I will make sure I get to answer your question in a day or two. Characterconferences.com, and then go to the very bottom. There is a part where you can send a message or a question.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rentoy. So, thank you so much to everybody for very engaged participants, for all the comments, the insights that you've been sending in the chat. We will now proceed to the awarding of the certificate of appreciation. So, our certificate reads. The certificate of appreciation is awarded to Mr. Emmanuel M. Rentoy and expertise on the topic Cultivating Ethical Integrity, Educators' Key Role in a Tech-Driven World during the quarterly faculty lecture series, held via Zoom on October 20, 2023. Signed by Dr. Angelito Z. Antonio, Dean, School of Education and Human Development. Thank you very much, Mr. Rentoy, for sharing your work with us this afternoon. If we can give a round of applause using our emojis in the Zoom for the very wonderful informative talk from Mr. Rentoy. Before we say goodbye, please do not forget to accomplish our brief evaluation form for this activity. You may use the link and QR code shown on the screen. You may also refer to the link posted in the chat box. Please follow us on our social media accounts and stay tuned for our upcoming seminars, sessions, and lectures. We hope that this has been a productive and insightful learning session for all of us. Thank you once again for joining us. Have a good evening and happy weekend po.